Welcome again to Joe Stunner Boxing. The rather odd circus continues between John Fury and Carl Froch. I, like several others, many others probably, did a video about John Fury offering to fight Carl Froch. And Froch has replied again. He's accepted the challenge. He said, "John, I'll fight you, no problem. But it's not going to sell out Wembley Stadium, 93,000. There's a surprise. But Froch has said, look, John, why don't you go over to Misfits? Why don't you, start growling at some of these influencers and, I'm sure that they'd find a place for you on that, in that arena, that type of platform. But the idea of fighting me, it's a very, very silly idea. And of course it is, because Froch would absolutely obliterate John Fury in the ring. On the streets, it might be a different matter, because anything goes on the street, no holds barred, down a darkened alley. I mean, I'd still favour Froch, but when you're allowed to do anything to anyone, it becomes a rather different scenario, potentially a rather different scenario. But in the ring, Froch would absolutely crush John Fury. I mean, it would be so embarrassing. And to be honest, Froch is saying he might do it for charity. I wouldn't even go there either. I really wouldn't, because you're basically talking about potentially, keep using the word potentially, but this is all sort of hypothetical, of course. So yeah, it is potentially, a man in his mid-40s beating the hell out of a guy who's closer to old age than middle age. I mean, John is 59. Now, what Froch did add was, when he was talking about the Misfits thing, was, why don't you fight, Joe Egan or Mickey Theo or someone like this? Mickey Theo, I think, is in his possibly mid-50s. I think Dominic Negus was another one that mentioned fighting John Fury. But certainly Joe Egan, he's in his late 50s. He might be the same age, 58, 59. That would definitely, they put that on Misfits. So I think John is barking up the wrong tree, but then he always does, doesn't he? I mean, this is such a ridiculous scenario. John Fury against Carl Froch. And Froch, who, when you see him interviewed and doing his podcast, he still looks in pretty, good condition. He looks like he works out, he stays nice and fit. Whereas John, he looks like he's just come off the sofa. And Carl, in his latest sort of retort, said, look at the state of you. He said, you've been out of prison for how many years? Was it 8 years or something? You haven't had a fight since then. Now, there may be a reason for that. There may be that John Fury is on a licence. I would imagine he almost certainly is, really. I mean, it was a very serious crime, gouging a guy's eye out, that he went to prison for. And he did go for many years. And did he do the whole lot? Because if he didn't, he's bound to be on some sort of licence. So if John got into a fight, I think this might be why John wants it in the ring, because he knows if it's on the street and it gets out of hand again, he's going back to prison. He doesn't want to do that. Whereas if it's in the ring, under the auspices of, it wouldn't be the board surely, but if he's got some sort of licence to fight in the ring, it's a different kettle of fish. He could hurt someone and wouldn't, he wouldn't go back to prison. But of course, the board would never sanction the fight at all. The board would never give John a license. Not 59 years old, my God. They'd be committing, PR suicide by doing something like that. But Misfits, oh yeah. John versus Joe Egan, John versus Mickey Theo. They'd snap it up, because that's what they're all about. They're all about, old men, rank amateurs, getting it on. I mean, if Triller was still around, do you remember when they put Holyfield, who was 60, and with some MMA guy, I can't remember the guy's name, I never heard of him, but he beat the crap out of Holyfield, knocked him all over the ring. Holyfield was nearly 60 and hadn't had a fight for God knows how many years of any sort, and basically got humiliated. I think he stepped in for Oscar De La Hoya, who was meant to fight on that card. But Triller, I mean, what a bargain basement crap that was. Well, actually, bargain basement is wrong because a bargain is something good. This was just, real sewer stuff. And Misfits is not quite as bad, but at least the fighters, if you can call them that, look evenly matched. So, yeah, they'd be happy to put John in the ring with someone of equal standing. But, yeah, anyway, look, this is dragging. Carl Froch versus John Fury. Come on, man. What the hell is all this crap about? And I do hope, even for charity, Carl doesn't start swapping fists with him, because he'll for a man of that age, he'll will he tarnish his legacy? No, but it would be a very, very bad PR stunt for Carl Froch to put hands on John Fury, an old man, essentially an old man. So what do you think about this? Have you had enough of it? I'm beginning to get that way. When I watch Froch's podcast, I do laugh along because he just takes the piss out of John, and it's very funny, a lot of what he says, saying that it's, doing impressions of him, and you can hear Froch's missus in the background laughing away, giggling away, but yeah, it's run its course, hasn't it? Anyway, if you've got any comments, leave them below. Let me know what you think. And of course, if you're new to the channel, you could subscribe and maybe hit the like button if you like the video. That'd be great too. I will catch you later. Bye for now.